Hello, everyone. I'm Kazupon. I hope you guys are having fun. Today, I'd like to talk about state of Vue I18. But first, let me introduce myself. I'm Kazupon. I live in Japan. I'm one of the Vue.js core team members. I'm organizer of Vue.js Japan user group. I'm the creator of Vue I18 and interface. I'm working at Trade Inc., which is one of the largest SaaS companies in Japan. At Plate, I'm working on with the I18 implementation for our product Carte. Today, I'd like to talk about three topics. First, I'd like to talk about the Vue 18. What is going on with the Vue 18 introduction and current Vue 18 stat. Secondly, I'd like to talk about Vue 18 version 9, which you are also interested in. Finally, I'd like to talk about Vue 18 next milestone and interface. Now, let's talk about Vue 18. So, some of you may be new to Vue 18. So, I'm quickly introduce it to you. Vue 18 is an internationalization plugin for Vue.js. There are some features in Vue 18. Translation, polarization, datetime formatting, number formatting, translation path single file components, and more. Vue 18 has some official toolings. Vue 18 provides some bundler middleware, Webpack, Rollup, and Beat. By using those together with bundler, you can support translation while managing I18 resource per single file components. Vue 18 provides a plugin for Vue CLI. By specifying the plugin name I18 in the add command of Vue CLI, you can set up the Vue 18 environment for your Vue CLI project. Vue 18 also provides the ESLint plugin as an official tooling. By using this plugin, you can use I18 lint for your project. Vue 18 has the other official tooling. Vue 18 Jest, a processor for Vue.js. Vue 18 extensions the Vue 18 functionality. Vue 18 local message, which is a tool for managing Vue 18 local messages. Vue 18 provides tools to help you support I18 in your project. Third-party tools are available to support Vue 18. Nuxt.18, an extension to Vue 18 to support I18 in nuxt.js. Bubble an editor to support the translation of Vue 18 local messages. I18 only supports translation of Vue 18 local messages and message key completion for developer experience in Visual Studio codes. IntelliJ IDEA plugin and Vue 18 extract, which can check the usage of local messages. You can use these tools to improve developer experience for I18 development with Vue 18. That's my brief introduction to Vue 18. Next, let's talk quickly about Vue 18 stats. About NPM, in February 2021, Vue 18 has had over 180 releases. Also, since the release of Vue 18, it has been loaded about 34 million times and is used in over 30,000 packages. About CDN download stats in JS Deliver, Vue I18 has been downloaded about 4 million downloads per month. So according to Vue Telescope in February 2021, Vue I18 has been used over 5,200 Vue applications or Nuxt applications. I'd like to talk quickly about the release histories of Vue I18. From 2014 to 2015, about the same time as Vue first public release, we released the initial release, Vue I18 version 0. From 2015 to 2016, around the same time Vue version 1 was released. We released Vue I18 version 1 and version 2. In that release, we supported Vue version 1. From 2016 to 2017, around the same time Vue version 2 was released. We released Vue I18 version 3 and version 4. In that release, we supported version 2. After Vue version 2 had been released in 2017, Vue would make several minor and patch releases. So Vue I18 was the major release between 2017 and 2018. With release supporting many features. Since the release of Vue I18 version 8, we've released a lot of minor and patch releases. Now, Vue 8.22.4 is the latest and stable version for Vue version 2. So I've talked about Vue I18 stats and release histories. I think you can see how Vue I18 has been growing with the evolution of Vue releases. Today, finally, Vue I18 version 9 has been released. Woo! Wow, I'm surprised. Party pop is internationalization. So next, let's talk about Vue I18 version 9, the one that concerns you guys the most. First, I'd like to talk about the development of Vue I18 version 9. Development of Vue I18 began after the initial version of Vue 3 Alpha was released on December 20th, 2019. The development had started on January 6, 2020. The repository put with Vue I18 next on Interfile organization. Then, after over 600 commits and the development of 9 related tools, in February 2021, today we released Vue I18 version 9. For the development of Vue I18, we reset the project once and implemented it from full scratch. Why is that? That's because Vue I18 was becoming very difficult to maintenance and enhancement. Since the release of version 6, we have added some features to Vue I18. But since most of the features we were added for use cases that didn't envision at the time of the design, we have added features on an ad hoc basis. As a result, Vue I18 codes have become spaghetti codes that are difficult to maintain. So from that reflection, Vue I18 version 9 has been designed to be maintainable, extendable, and rewritten from scratch. Let's dive into the new designed Vue I18 version 9. First, I'd like to talk about layered module. In Vue 18 version 9, the module is structured in 3 layers now: utility layer, core layer, and entry layer. The monolith package structures each layer. That layer provides utilities to entry layer and core layer. Utility layer consists of interface message compiler, which compiles Vue I18 messages. Interface message resolver, which resolves the message from the corresponding message resources for each locale based on the message key specified by the translation functions. And interface runtime, which is the runtime required to run the compiled messages. Utility layer is mainly used in core layer. Core layer is the layer that provides core functionality to entry layer. Interface core base is this layer. Vue 18 version 9 features such as translation, datetime formats, and number formats are implemented in core layer. Entry layer is a layer that provides entries as a library. Vue I18 is implemented as a plugin for Vue.js. Interface core is implemented so that it can run in other environments. As you can see, Vue I18 has made it easy to maintain by modularizing the system by responsibility and feature. In addition, each module is implemented in a way that conforms to the ES module, so that 3-stacking is enabled in the bundler. This means that API are not used in each package can be improved at bundling to reduce size. And it's also easy to extend because it's modularized by responsibility. And APIs are provided for each package. For example, Interface Core Base provides low-level I18 API, and Interface Message Compiler provides compile API. Next, Vue I18 version 9 takes a hybrid approach as it provides an I18 API for Vue.js. There are 2 types of API. One is Vue I18 Composition API, which is optimized for Vue 3 Composition API. The other is the Legacy API, which is mostly compatible with Vue I18 version 8. Legacy API supports existing Vue applications using Vue I18 to migrate smoothly to Vue 3. I mentioned these API are implemented based on low-level I18 API. Specifically, Vue I18 Composition API is implemented by low-level I18 API. And Legacy API is implemented by wrapping Vue I18 Composition API. Look up screen. The example for the Vue I18 Composition API and Legacy API. The left is the Vue I18 Composition API codes. The right is the codes for the legacy APIs. Vue I18 Composition API is used in the Vue 3 Composition API, and Vue I18 provides use I18 function, which is executed with the setup function and used in the template using T function and local property of exported composer instance. As you can see, that legacy API is almost the same as in Vue I18 version 8. Next, I'd like to talk about message compiler. Message compiler compiles the message format for Vue I18. Message compiler is the compiler that includes scanner, tokenizer, parser, transformer, and generator. Message compiler compiles the messages, and it generates message functions that can be executed as JavaScript. Let's talk quickly about how message compile works and about compile process. When message compile accepts message as input, it uses tokenizer to convert from the message to tokens. The tokenized message is then passed with parser, and the message is converted into AST. Then the transformer walks through AST and processes each node. The processed AST finally walks through the AST again in generator and generates JavaScript function string with each node's information. As you can see, the message compiler is transpiler that generates JavaScript from message strings. Message compiler provides user-friendly to report syntax errors when compiling message syntax. Message compiler also supports source map. This allows to debug with insert of breaking points into message at the browser. So I mentioned interfere message compiler, which provides message compiler, provides compiler API. By using compiler API, you can do low-level language processing using parser. As an actual use cases, Vue I18 official ESLint plugins uses the compiler API for message syntax validation. Compiler API is also used in interface CLI. It precompiles the message. Next, I'd like to talk about precompilation. Vue I18 supports precompilation of local message using Bandra middleware, which is provided as official tooling. Precompilation can improve the performance of your applications. By default, the translation function compiles and evaluates message retrievals from local message based on the function keys. So, pre-compiling the local message, you can skip the execution cost of the compilation process. As a result, the application's rendering performance can be improved. Next, I'd like to talk about Vue DevTools integration. Vue DevTools version 6 allows you to customize the Vue DevTools with plugins. In Vue I18 version 9 development builds, Vue I18 can integrate with Vue DevTools using Vue DevTools API. So you can debug Vue I18 on Vue DevTools. Vue I18 extends Vue DevTools components inspector. If you are using the local scope for each component, you can check custom done on the component in the component inspector. And you can inspect the local message and other information managed by local message in the inspector. Also, Vue I18 extends the I18 resource inspector to Vue DevTools. So you can use the I18 resource inspector to inspect by scope. By displaying the I18 resource inspector, the scope listed and the selected scope information can be displayed in the inspector. The component inspector can also check Vue I18 scope information. The I18 resource inspector filters out information such as props of components and displays Vue I18 scope information only. That means it's possible to debug for I18 specifically. In addition, Vue I18 extends timeline to provide the Vue I18 specific timeline. The Vue I18 timeline records some custom events. For example, missing events. The translation function cannot find a local message corresponding to a given key. Fallback events, the fallback occurs. So you can debug with the timeline base. Next, Vue I18 version 9 also provides the mechanism for bundle size optimization. Vue I18 version 6 provides different builds for use in some situations. Global builds, AMD builds for CDN delivery, ES browser builds for ES module enabled browsers, ES bundler builds for use with bundler, CJS build for use with Node.js builds. In addition, for specific builds, Vue I18 version 9 also provides a build for the production environment and Vue I18 runtime only. So among them, ESM bundled build provides two builds, Vue I18 runtime plus message compiler, or runtime only. For bundler, the default is runtime plus message compiler. Why is that? Because there are two use cases. The first use case is when you define local message as object directly in your JavaScript code. The second use case is to fetch local message from backend API. In these use cases, if your message compiler isn't bundled, the runtime cannot correctly handle it. If you don't have such use cases, you can set runtime only as an alias in each bundler to reduce its bundle size. Vue I18 version 9 also provides another way to reduce the bundle size by using feature flag. Vue I18 version 9 has two feature flags to optimize bundle size. One is Vue I18 full install flag, and the other is Vue I18 legacy API flag. Vue I18 full install is default true. It installs the composition API and legacy API. The built-in components provides and custom directory. If you set false to this flag, you can bundle the composition API and legacy API only. Vue I18 legacy API is default true, which means that composition API and legacy API will be bundled. If you set this flag to false, only the composition API can be bundled. So therefore, you can optimize the bundle size with Vue I18 full install flag and Vue I18 legacy API to false. So to see how much the bundle size is actually reduced, we used bit Vue I18 starter, and here are the results. By bit bundles dependencies such as Vue I18 and Vue I18 into file prefixed with vendor. When it's built, we measured this file size. Without boundary optimization, it was 27.83 kilobytes. When boundary is optimized, it was 22 kilobytes. You can reduce bind size by almost 20%. Finally, Vue I18 version 9 also provides new toolings. Vue I18 version 9 provides two new toolings. The first is Interface Beat plugin Vue I18, which is a plugin for Beat. And the secondary is Interface CLI. Interface Beat plugin Vue I18 allows you to set up an environment for Vue Composition API. Interface CLI can precompile local messages. If you wanted to handle local message in the build process and etc., that CLI tool can be used. I've talked about Vue I18 version 9 so far. I hope you enjoyed it. Now, let's talk about our plans for Vue I18 next milestones. In the next milestone, we will extend Vue I18 message syntax. Vue I18 message syntax was an original format, but the original format makes it difficult to use for those who are already familiar with ICU message format. In particular, since there is no selector, the current Vue I18 requires defining message with pipeline character to support parallels. Also, since number format and date time format is not supported, Vue I18 has to use the API to format them. In the next milestone, we plan to extend this to ICU-like message format. It means that it will be designed to simplify Vue I18 API. Please note that the syntax shown on the screen is still an idea at this point. It's subject to change in the future. As for the main package, the current plan is to improve what you see on the screen. There are two improvement plans for the Vue I18 package. The first is to improve TypeScript-defined inference. When this compilation is supported, there will be fewer missing keys, which will further improve developer experience. The second is support for custom formatter. Custom formatter was not supported in Vue I18 version 9 release, but we will support it with improving Vue I18 internal API to a higher level of abstraction. About interface core based packages, we will improve low-level I18 API. And about interface message resolve package, we will make the message resolve programmable so that users can customize it. We are also planning to improve the official toolings. The middleware tools for Bundler, which are hosted in separate repository for Webpack, Rollup, and Beat. These will be managed in monorepo. About ESLint plugins, it will improve the performance of JSON and YAML parser. Vue I18 processor will support Vue.js version 5. Interface CLI will port the feature provided by Vue I18 local message. And we will also provide Vue I18 IE11 compatibility builds. the Kazupon Vue I18 repository will be moved to Interfy organization, and Vue I18 next codes will be removed to that repository. I've been talking about Vue I18 version 9. Lastly, I'd like to talk quickly about Interfy, the word that has come up in my talk, and I'm sure some of you are wondering about it. Please look at the screen. This is Interfy mission. Interfy is a project that I organize. I have been working in software development for I18 until now. I've become aware that even so technology has evolved, but developer experience has not changed over time. So this is why I decided to organize the Interfy project, because I wanted to solve this problem, not only for Vue.js, but also for software in general. Vue I18 will continue to be a part of Interfy project. We will continue to be part of Interfy project. Solving I18 problems through Vue I18 and continuing our Vue ecosystem involvement. As Vue I18 grows, we are looking for more Interfy project members. If you are interested in Interfy, please ask me. Finally, I'd like to thank all sponsors and backers who support my OSS activities. And I hope you will continue to support my OSS activities. I hope you will continue to enjoy conference. Thank you very much.